Good morning, folks. This morning you're going to hear about the Kilbourne Summer Grant in the Arts. It's a remarkable program that we have for those of you that are interested in furthering your education in the arts in the summer, and any kind of arts, whether performance art or a visual art. We have had 70 people that have had Kilbourne grants over the years. So there's many of you that have done it, and I hope many of you that will attempt to do it. Today you're going to hear from 5 young people that did it last summer. There's actually 6. Cassie Wilson is school year abroad, and she did the Wesleyan Creative Summer Youth Program in voice. But the 5 you're going to hear today are Sam Lamy, who's going to do it in photo, Oliver Salk, who's going to do it in film, Natalie Bell and Katarina Rosen in architecture and creative writing, and Casey Petro in theater. They have all had unique experiences and wonderfully enriching experiences. I would dare say that these experiences have changed their lives. After this meeting's over, I will send out information if you're interested for this coming summer. Please take a look at it. If you need to talk to me or have any questions, get back to me, or talk to your arts teacher. Every one of them knows about this and can certainly give you ideas if you're not sure. You just think, well, I'd like to do something, but I'm not sure what, and talk to your teacher, and they will certainly have some ideas for you. So thank you. I thank John Kilbourne, who is here, and thank him for this incredible gift that he has given to our community. Please welcome him. And without further ado, we'll begin with Sam.
Hi, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sam Lamy, and I am a sophomore. This past summer, I was given the opportunity to attend a 5-week summer program for high school students called CCY at Wesleyan University. Although this program offers many different arts courses such as theater and dance, I chose the photography program. Every morning I had class from 8:30 to 11:30. Before I went to CCY, I had no idea how to use a film camera. However, my teacher made sure that I knew exactly how to use it before shooting. Regardless, I still forgot how to use the light meter, which is used to measure the exposure of photographs. When I was taking photos for the first time, I asked her a question, and she responded, "Well, what does your light meter say?" And I said, "What's a light meter?" I quickly learned how to use a light meter after I developed my photographs, and they either came out too light or too dark. I went from not knowing how to use a light meter to being able to create art with it. And this is my final portfolio in the gallery. Through the photography program, we took 3 trips. We went to Wadsworth Falls, Wadsworth Mansion, and Lyman Orchards. At Lyman Orchards, I ended up walking down a hill for over a mile to get the pictures I wanted. And then, of course, I had to walk back up the hill, and it was extremely hot. We also had the choice to take elective courses in the afternoon for 2 hours. I chose ballroom for the first 2 weeks, musical theater for the second 2 weeks, and tap dancing for the 5th week. One of the guys in my class enjoyed ballroom so much that he actually signed up to take the course for the second 2 weeks and the 5th week. Of course, his request was declined. One of the extra things that we have at CCY are the dances that occur every Saturday night. This particular one was the zombie dance. We had a makeup tutorial before this event, and we learned how to make somewhat convincing zombies. Although the classes were amazing, and I not only learned how to swing, tango, and cha-cha, as well as sing, dance, and act simultaneously, the most incredible thing that I got out of this program were the friendships I made. I made so many great friends while I was there, and I'm still in contact with many of them today. CCY was like a second home for me because I was surrounded by so many people that liked the arts just as much as I do. The last thing I wanted to talk about is a tradition they have at CCY. On the last morning, we all got up around 5 a.m. and gathered on the hill on top of blankets together to watch the sunrise. It wasn't until that moment that I realized that CCY was coming to an end. It was so sad to leave behind the friends I had made and the classes I was so used to attending. And actually, a lot of us ended up falling asleep on top of the hill, including me. So lastly, I just wanted to thank the Kilbourne Grant for giving me the opportunity to have these memories to reflect on. I recommend CCY to anyone who is willing to step out of their comfort zone and dedicate 5 weeks to their passion for the arts. Thank you.
Many of us surround ourselves with so much television, videos, films, and movies, we tend to forget the time and commitment put forth in this art form. Through the support I received from the Kilbourne Grant, I attended the New York Film Academy, where I not only built upon my previous filmmaking experience from Taft and the Treehouse, but over this 3-week course, I was stripped of everything I thought I knew about making films and retaught it from the ground up. I learned, in a sense, the complete movie-making spectrum: acting, lighting, editing, cinematography, and directing from a much more professional and artistic standpoint. The New York Film Academy, in my opinion, prepared me exceptionally well because its curriculum was based off the idea that in order to create a better filmmaker, you first have to remove and simplify the entire process so that you are forced to perfect each and every shot and focus on the storytelling process rather than the technical one. That's what separates good movies from bad ones: the story. For the 3 weeks I was in New York, I directed 2 short films and assisted on many other projects. Being in an environment surrounded solely by fellow filmmakers and actors was also a very rewarding and fun experience. And getting to know these other very talented kids and teachers on off days and weekends was worth it in itself. All the films I directed and worked on were shot with no sound, no dialogue, on 16mm black and white film. This is where I learned the most I ever have about movie making. For those of you who work with film in the photography courses at Taft, you understand how long, challenging, and stressful shooting on actual physical film can be. But if done right, your hard work is paid off. I ended up seeing a vast improvement in my directing and cinematography, or the placement and composition of the camera. When working with film, every detail matters, and every shot counts. I feel as if this experience alone not only changed how I examined movies, but made me a much better, more persistent filmmaker. The New York Film Academy provided me with all the resources, time, space, and teaching I needed to become a better filmmaker. Being in New York City was also a very enjoyable and worthwhile part of the program. Being able to use the city as a backdrop for my short films was also very unique. The Kilbourne Grant and the New York Film Academy gave me an opportunity in filmmaking I never would have gotten just through Taft alone. What I learned in New York will stay with me from every project, short film, and feature I hopefully make. I encourage anyone with an interest in filmmaking and acting to look into the New York Film Academy and the Kilbourne Grants. Thank you.
With the help of the Kilbourne Grant, Natalie and I attended 2 different programs at Columbia University this past summer. The 3-week learning experience in the city was a great opportunity for both of us. Although we commuted, many of our friends that we met there were staying in the dorms with students from all over the world.
I began every day with a 2-hour seminar on architectural history. where we explored how society and location have influenced architecture over the years. In the afternoons, we had our studio time. We began this course with the tedious task of drawing a page of lines, all the same line weights and different distance apart, and eventually progressed to our final project of designing our own version of a newsstand for the High Line in New York City. The High Line is an old above-ground railroad track in Chelsea that has been restored and turned into a walking park. For this project, we had to visit and analyze the site, taking note of movement, surroundings, and the primary reasons for people's visit to the High Line. From this analysis, we had to design a unique newsstand we believed would be appropriate. This design was later critiqued by local architects and professors who looked both at our models, floor plans, and debated the overall efficiency of our design at the intended site. This program was an amazing opportunity, and it would not have been possible without the help of the Kilbourne grant.
I did a creative writing course in which I worked with two professors who were graduates of the Columbia NYFA program. Both are published authors, and it was interesting to hear their stories about the publishing world. They also gave me great feedback on my own short stories and poetry. I also really enjoyed reading and critiquing the work of my peers. A lot of my classmates were really, really exceptional writers. One of the seminars I took was Write What You Don't Know, in which the cliché that young writers are often told was inverted. Instead of writing about the familiar, we were told to write about the unfamiliar. The seminar was a great opportunity for us to employ our imaginations. One assignment we were given was to spy on random people on the street. We had to listen in on random people's conversations. My friend Libby and I were sitting on the big steps of the Columbia University Library. It was a great, sunny summer day, and we spotted these two Columbia undergraduates who looked like typical New York City hipsters, and we decided to spy on them. They were wearing really tight jeans and striped shirts, and they looked interesting, so we spied on them. Every time they would take a step leftward, we would scuttle over on the stairs to keep listening. Well, from listening to their conversations, we realized that they weren't as interesting as they seemed. They just said bro a lot. They did become characters in my short story that I wrote for class the next day. It was really exciting to be in such an intellectually stimulating and nurturing environment full of people who were equally passionate about creative writing. I'm very grateful to Mr. Kilbourne for giving me this opportunity.
Overall, we both had great summers, and these courses were a great way for us to prepare for what lies ahead, and we strongly encourage everyone to apply for the Kilbourne grant.
What is the purpose of theater? Beyond entertainment or its face value, why is theater significant in the world around us? This is the question we were posed on my first day of class at Busty, and over the next 5 weeks, I would discover my answer. Hi, my name's Casey Petro, and this summer I attended the Boston University Summer Theater Institute, an intensive 5-week conservatory program where I, along with 55 of my peers, took a range of classes 6 days a week, 11 hours a day. Our core classes consisted of voice and movement, design and movement, singing, and Shakespeare. Every day at 9, we would divide into our acting groups and make the trek up to the CFA building, about a 10-minute walk from our dorms. Then, after lunch, we would separate into our acting groups again and go to acting class with our designated teacher, where we would do a scene study in either of the 2 plays we were required to read, The Glass Menagerie by Tennessee Williams and Melancholy Play by Sarah Rule. Then, finally, after dinner, we would separate again, this time into our performance groups, where we would work on creating a completely original performance piece to be shown to our parents at the conclusion of the program. On top of these classes, we took a slew of master classes, including vocal health, stage combat, Alexander technique, Suzukian viewpoints, improvisation, clowning, and monologue writing. Now, these classes were meant to give you a taste of conservatory training at the college level, which is why the hours were so rigorous. But more importantly, they provided a medium for self-discovery. Ensemble. This is the basis of the program. Creating the strongest ensemble possible. A group of people who completely trust one another so that we could put our hearts and souls into the work that we are doing. A safe environment was the key to creating this ensemble. A safe environment allowed us to take risks when we felt the impulse, allowed us to be pushed to our breaking point, and allowed us to truly feel emotions when they arose. About 2 weeks into the program, I got a call from my mom explaining that my sister was about to go into surgery. Now, this was completely unexpected, and as you can imagine, I was overcome with feelings of anxiety, regret, and most of all, helplessness. I was 300 miles away and could do nothing but wait for more information. About an hour later, I was getting ready to do an up, which is a rehearsal in front of the class, where the director critiques us and our classmates would take notes. Rehearsing was about the last thing I wanted to do at that moment, but pressured by my director and my TAs, I pushed through and used everything that I was feeling at that moment and infused it into the scene. Something changed that day, and everyone in the room noticed it. Suddenly, my scene became more emotionally charged, more truthful. It was then that I took a step forward as an artist. Now, the hardest thing for an actor is being honest and believable. And the purpose of theater is portraying the human condition. Now, being honest and believable is the hardest thing for an actor to accomplish. Because I was able to use what I was feeling at that moment, I was able to take a step forward. There's no way I could do this program justice in a 3-minute speech. So I would like to encourage anyone who has any interest in the program to please come talk to me, as I'll share more of my personal experience. I would also like to encourage anyone who has interest in any arts program whatsoever to apply for the Kilbourne grant, as it helped afford me this opportunity and it changed my life. Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy. So if you're a photographer, a singer, an instrumentalist, a writer, anything in the arts, this is a program for you. As I said, I will send the information out on email, and if you're interested, talk to your arts teacher or get in touch with me. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys.